He's inside me. He's not behind me, he's inside me. And he's inside every one of us in different forms. Okay? He could be inside you as Vishnu, as Shaktima, as many different forms. But he's inside you. That's a concept of Har Har Mahadev. That was a concept of the ancient religions across countries. That God lives within you. Your task is to discover the God within. You don't need to, with due apologies to Dylan Thomas, you don't need to look up on a sad height to try and find God. You just need to look within. God lives within you.
I'm curious, if I may, following up on that question, that followers of Shiva have had a particular picture in their mind about Lord Shiva, right? And that has gone for generations and generations and centuries. And suddenly you come up with a picture which is totally different. You've humanized him, you've made him use very colloquial language and so on. You've given him intensely romantic feelings and all that. And
yes.
Now, what I want to know is how does a conventional Shiva worshipper react to what he might think of as distortions?
Actually, there's nothing different about this. You read the Kumar Sambhav, written by Kalidas, one of the greatest Sanskrit writers ever. And there's no other word for it, the erotic love described between Shiva and Parvati is so immense and so intense, and this was written 1,500 years ago. There's nothing new in, as one of my younger writers put it, the cool dude qualities of Lord Shiva. It's been around for thousands of years. I actually haven't done anything new. If you see his traditional form as a god as well, he treats his wife as an equal. In all his representations, Parvati ji sits next to him, shoulder to shoulder, as an equal. She doesn't sit below him. In all his traditional myths, she many times opposes him and does what she thinks is right. And he doesn't punish her, he continues to obsessively love her. He's a democratic god, he treats his, and no disrespect to any other god, but he's a democratic god, he treats his devotees with respect. He is a brilliant dancer, he is a god of music, he drinks bhang, he smokes marijuana. He is a very cool god, even in his traditional form. Actually, I don't think there's anything different in my books, actually.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid we'll have...
In my books, he speaks in English, non-Sanskrit.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a long book signing that is to follow, so I'm afraid we'll have to cut the audience questions short right here. But please do pose your questions on your one-on-one interactions with Amish. We have one last question. We have a whole load of questions actually from Twitter, but we're going to pick one for you, Amish, and this one is from Uma Jaisekhar. She says, "Hi Amish, in your books there were very few characters who spoke about past life, that's the karma. Do you believe in the concept personally of rebirth and reincarnation?"
Yeah, I believe in reincarnation. The problem is you can't prove it. One of the philosophies I believe in is believe the philosophy which gives you momentum, which gives you energy. Because the only thing that you have proof for is the present moment. Okay, anything in the past, and if you ask everyone out here 10 years later, their memory of this event, we'll have 100 versions of it. So the past actually exists in each person's mind. The future, there are so many different possible variations depending on the choices that you make. The only thing that's real is this moment. So the point is, believe the theory that gives you peace. Believe the theory that energizes you. Believing in past lives energizes me. If for someone else it doesn't energize him, then don't believe it. It doesn't matter because you can't prove it.
Thank you so much, Amish. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we need, I'm really sorry, the media interactions as well can follow. But we need to wrap the event officially right now. Like I said, we are going to be having the book signing and we're going to be having tons of interactions to follow. But first, a very, very special thank you. Told that Amish would like to read first. Amish, if you could maybe read a small excerpt and then maybe we could have a couple of media questions.
Okay, I have to read. I'm going to read 2.5 pages. For those of you who have the book, for those who aren't buying the book, shame on you. For those of you who do have the book, look at page 29. That's where I'm going to read from. Don't worry, this is not going to spoil the book for you. I've selected a section which might surprise you a little bit, but will not spoil the book for you. For those of you who've read the first two books, it might surprise you a little bit. Page 29, after the section break. It begins with my lord. Are we there? Okay, here we go. My lord, a bird courier has just arrived with a message for your eyes only, said Kanakhala, the Meluhan Prime Minister. That's why I brought it personally. Daksha occupied his private chambers, a worried Virini seated beside him. He took the letter from Kanakhala and dismissed her. With a polite namaste towards her emperor and empress, Kanakhala turned to leave. Glancing back, she glimpsed a rare intimate moment between them as they held each other's hand. The last few months had inured her to the strange goings-on in Meluha. Daksha's past betrayal of Sati during her first pregnancy had shocked her enormously. Kanakhala had lost all respect for her emperor. She continued with the job because she remained loyal to Meluha. She had even stopped questioning the strange orders from her lord, like the one he'd given the previous day about making arrangements for Bhrigu and Dilipa to travel to the ruins of Mount Mandar. She could understand Maharishi Bhrigu's interest in going there, but what earthly reason could there be for the Swadeepan emperor to go as well? Kanakhala saw Daksha letting go of Virini's hand and breaking the seal of the letter as she shut the door quietly behind her. Daksha began to cry. Virini immediately reached over and snatched the letter from him. As she read through it quickly, Virini let out a deep sigh of relief as tears escaped from her eyes. She's safe. They're all safe. On the surface, the plan to assassinate the Neelkanth worked towards the unique interests of all the three main conspirators, Maharishi Bhrigu, Emperor Daksha, and Emperor Dilipa. For Bhrigu, the gain was obvious. For Dilipa, it meant, I'm going to skip over those 2-3 lines because it might spoil things a little bit. For Dilipa, it meant the killing of 2 birds with a single stone. Not only would he continue to receive the elixir from Bhrigu, but he'd also do away with Bhagirath, his heir and greatest threat. Daksha would be rid of the troublesome Neelkanth and would be able to blame all ills on the Nagas once again. The plan was perfect, except that Daksha could not countenance the killing of his daughter. He was willing to put everything on the line to ensure that Sati was left unharmed. Bhrigu and Dilipa had hoped that with a rupture in relations between Daksha and his daughter, the Meluhan emperor would support this mission wholeheartedly. But they were wrong. Daksha's love for Sati was deeper than his hatred for Shiva. Upon Virini's advice, Daksha had sent the Arishtanemi brigadier, Maheshainik, known for his blind loyalty to Meluha and deep devotion to the Neelkanth, on a secret mission. Maheshainik was to accompany the 5 ships that had been sent to attack the Neelkanth's convoy. Virini had covertly kept in touch with her daughter Kali through all these years of strife and had made Daksha aware of the river warning and defense systems of the Nagas. All that had to be done was to get the alarm triggered in time. Maheshainik's mission was to ensure that the alarms went off. He was to escape and return to Meluha after that. The Arishtanemi brigadier and the acting general of the Meluhan army had carried a homing pigeon with him to deliver the news of the subsequent battle to Daksha. The happy message for the Meluhan emperor was that the progeny Daksha cared for, Sati and Kartik, were alive and safe.